The interesting thing for me is that being old enough to have been around when All the President's Men came out, I assumed that that's what the set would be because that was the historical set that they made at the time for All the President's Men. It turns out that that was the location and the way it looked in the Washington Post in 1972. But our story is a prequel to All the President's Men. It's what happened before that time, and it was actually in a different building, a different office. So we went in with the assumption that it would end up looking like All the President's Men with all the colored desks and everything. But instead, we actually found the pictures that showed us what it looked like ahead of that time, which was a more dated look and also much more of a hodgepodge. The way you sort of see it here, it's not color-coded, and it's much more the end of an era, the beginning of a new era, which in a sense is what the whole movie is about. It's about the end of an era of trust, I guess, in government, and the role of the press was basically to be in sync with the government. These are just typewriters that people used with telephones, with cords, and everything was done in a much more manual process, all the way down to the linotype and the printing, which is a big part of the movie that we're making, which is essentially a celebration on the sub-level of the process of getting the news to the people. One of the things in production design that I enjoy the most is setting the stage for the scenes that are going to take place. But the deeper level to that is setting the stage for the emotions that are going to get played out for us by the actors and directors and the cinematographer being able to capture it and have chances to show the scenes from a perspective that actually means something, hopefully, to the audience. So when people walk into this set, one of the things I've enjoyed is seeing that they can suddenly immerse themselves right away in a reality that everywhere they look, it's the reality of the 1971 newsroom of the Washington Post. All of the sets that we're doing in this movie are trying to be as accurate as they can. Unfortunately, we did have a lot of research, so that Bradlee's office really was as transparent as it is and something that you can see from the outside, and that Kay's was much more hidden away in the beginning in the executive suite, and we have that documentation from the 60 Minutes reports and all the photos that we've seen. But the really important aspect of the movie in relationship to Kay and Ben Bradlee, for me as a set designer, is to see the way they complement one another. And so there's that kind of coming together around the newsroom and the process of being both the editor and the publisher of the paper, which is what you see reflected here in this newsroom set.